What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about Night Terror's Batman issue number 1. This one is, of course, written by Joshua Williamson, and the art is done by an artist by the name of Guillaume March. I'm not really familiar with them, all things considered, but again, in the previous thing, the whole Night Terrors issue number 1, the First Blood issue, basically this new villain known as Insomnia has basically put everyone to sleep, and he's looking for something called the Nightmare Stone and trying to unleash his terror. He was betrayed. He has issues with the heroes, and like we don't know his backstory fully just yet, but there's something clearly off with this guy. And again, there's a little recap right here. A mysterious, deadly new villain named Insomnia has struck. The entire world has been forced into eternal slumber, including all the heroes and villains, as Insomnia searches their dreams for the Nightmare Stone. Can the heroes survive being trapped within their darkest fears? So even Dark Crisis kind of did this like weird state with all the dreams, which felt kind of pointless, but this one at least more ties closely within the story of this whole nightmare realm and all the other stuff. And we get some crazy looking artwork in this thing. And again, I actually kind of like this issue a little bit more than the First Blood one, mostly due to the art and the crazy-ass visuals that you can get out of Batman's darkest fears, if you will. Like, look at the pearls here, how they're changed in perspective. I feel like this is one of those levels that reminds me when I used to play some of the Arkham games and, like, the Scarecrow Nightmare missions would pop up. I like stuff like this. I'm kind of a sucker for it. Insomnia shows up in the issue, and he tries to pretend to be, like, a sidekick of Batman. Now, as you know, Batman in the previous issue was possessed by Deadman by the end of it, because like Bruce went to sleep and Deadman's kind of using his body and he's trying to regain control, but he has to face down his nightmares. And of course, like, it's losing his family. He sees everyone there, like he has headstones for Dick, Jason, Tim, Damian, Jim, Talia, Cass, Duke, Steph, Selena, pretty much everyone like that's important in his life in regards to the Bat family. As you can see, Insomnia is right here, like as his own twisted version of Robin. Bruce is facing off against a version of Selena Kyle. At one point, he kind of barfs there's some really nasty stuff with some of this artwork. So, like, because like I said, I do love horror movies and just kind of the crazy ass stuff that happens in them. So I liked a lot of the art in this thing. I like the nightmarish look of it all. So far within the first 2 issues, I'm into this event, but we'll see how much that wears thin over the course of 2 months, if they can keep it interesting. But by the end of the issue, it leaves on a bit of a cliffhanger where Bruce is in essence becoming Joe Chill. So I feel like the story is just an excuse to kind of showcase a lot of crazy, nightmarish, horrific visuals and have the heroes kind of go through some of that stuff. And like I said, I love horror movies, and I'm okay with a horror-themed event. I just think the 50 issues or whatever that this event is seems like a little bit much. But hey, if they can keep the issues entertaining or make them interesting in some way, then I'll be cool with it. So that's the main story. I was surprised to find out that there actually is a Damian-focused backup, because I didn't really know this based on the solicitations, or even the description of the issue doesn't really mention it at all. But this is also a follow-up to the Free Comic Book Day issue, which I did cover on the channel, which technically really is the first thing in terms of this Night Terrors event, where Damian had a nightmare and he goes to like this land of dreams, if you will, the master of sleep and dreams, to try and figure out what's going on and like to hone his skills, if you will, in terms of the dream world. And then like he investigates some things. At one point he finds this mysterious scroll which has Deadman and has Ra's or Ra's al Ghul like there's like a skull, and then there's like a bat and some doves on the side in time. So I feel like Damian's going to have a huge role in this event to come. I know Deadman is kind of really like one of the main characters in this event so far, but I feel like Damian's going to have a big role in this thing, and I'm not exactly sure what that role will end up being, because at one point like he kind of like him and the Master of Dreams and all that get knocked out, but Damian is seemingly awake, or is he still trapped in the Nightmare realm? I'm going to say he's awake. I don't know how like he honed in this skill, if you will, that these other characters couldn't hone in the skill, even though they've been doing this for years. But it also says to be continued in Night Terrors number 3, so I guess we won't see him until next month stuff, because I think there's going to be 2 issues of Night Terrors. Well, I mean, there's a lot of issues of Night Terrors, but I think Night Terrors 1 and 2 will be out. I think Night Terrors 1 comes out next week, which is weird because the thing is called First Blood, but then it says Night Terrors 1, and then I don't know how they're doing this. So that'll be out, and then I think Damian's story will pick up next month's backup. I don't know if it'll pick up in the Batman backup, but I don't know. Williamson wrote this one. The artwork this time around was done by David Lafwentz. And, you know, it's a nice looking art style. I just feel like it doesn't really mesh as well with the tone the story was going for, especially in the first main storyline. We go from that disturbed horror element art, which kind of suited a little bit better, to this one, which is a little bit more cartoony. So the nightmarish visuals don't quite pop as well, but it does leave me intrigued to see what his story is there. What's the significance of the scroll? What role does Ra's al Ghul have to play in the storyline? Because, as you know, in the Dark Crisis spinoffs, Flatline somehow found an urn with his ashes, and then he was kind of brought back in that regards, despite being blown to bits in Shadow War. So I'm curious if that'll tie into this event at some point. But yeah, so overall consensus, I did like the Batman issue a little bit more than the First Blood one. I think too, because it was a little bit more focused. We got some creative looking artwork and some real nightmarish, ghoulish visions, which we did have in the previous one, but I thought these ones were a little bit more interesting. And again, this is stuff that we've kind of seen before. Batman's like trapped in a dream, he faces off against his fear and all that. But I think the nightmarish visuals, and I think there's some intrigue with the Damien thing going on. That's enough for me to kind of recommend it. So I personally enjoy this one a little bit more. It's a little bit more focused than the last one. And I like some of the nightmarish visuals. So far, like between the first two issues of Night Terrors I've covered, I mean, both of them are, you know, just fine so far. Nothing mind-blowing or like the greatest thing I've ever seen, but, you know, I'm enjoying myself okay. We'll see how that carries through with some of the other stuff, but so far we're okay. So anyways, if you have any thoughts on Night Terrors Batman issue number 1, let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, the bell for notifications, all that other fun stuff. Next time I will be back talking about the Black Adam one, and then I think Poison Ivy, and I got to read Ravager and the Joker one, and that'll be it for Night Terrors for this week. So if I can get at least 4 of these done, and then like basically what it's going to probably be is I'll get a couple videos in like on Tuesdays, a couple in on Wednesdays probably in terms of this, because like I said, when you have like 6 issues to cover, I don't always have the time to get all of them in one day. But since it is 4th of July, I actually have do have time to kind of read them. So look forward to all that other fun stuff. All right, well, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.